friends, today I will be talking to you and telling you something about brain tumors, how they come up in and around the brain, what are their signs and symptoms, because we often meet people whose relatives either are being treated for brain tumors, some of them are in our neighborhoods, but hardly we ever know what are the real signs and symptoms which occur in a person because of brain tumor. Now, these brain tumors are generally either malignant, that means they are cancerous, or some of them are non-cancerous, to which we call them as benign. Now, whether these tumors cancerous or non-cancerous, it is to be understood that once they grow to a larger size in the skull, which is a closed cavity, they cause pressure to the surrounding brain. And that is the reason all the signs and symptoms come up in patients with brain tumors. Now, what is brain tumor as such? Now, brain tumor is a solid mass which grows in or around the brain. Also, it can occur and develop in spinal cord, which is a part of the central nervous system. And these tumors in the spinal cord are called as spinal tumors. So we have brain tumors and we have spinal tumors. Now, out of all the brain tumors, only 1/3 of the brain tumors are really cancerous. And as we know about these particular brain tumors, there are certain brain tumors which arise from the brain substance. And some of them, they arise elsewhere in the body and travel to the brain. So all those tumors which arise right from the brain are called as primary brain tumors, whereas all those which come from rest of the part of the body and reach brain are called as secondary or metastatic tumors. Researchers have found out or identified almost 175 different types of brain tumors. We may not go into all those details now, but maybe for the information I may tell you some of them or their names. Under the category of benign tumors, we have craniopharyngiomas, we have meningiomas, we have schwannomas, pituitary adenomas, glomus jugular tumors. These are under the category of benign tumors. And under the category of malignant tumors, we have astrocytomas, glioblastoma, oligodendroglioma, and medulloblastoma. Now, next question is, how common are these tumors? Actually, from the statistics all over the world, these tumors are not that very common. They are about 5 to 6 per 100,000 people. So that is not very common occurrence. And the next question would be, if one is diagnosed with a brain tumor, is it really a serious thing? Yes, it is a serious affair when a brain tumor is diagnosed in a person. Now, what happens when there is a brain tumor which is situated inside the brain or outside the brain, but inside the skull cavity? Now, this particular concept, that skull is a hard, bony, compact, closed structure. And when a brain tumor, which is a solid mass, grows, it has to grow at the expense of the rest of the other brain tissue because it requires or occupies space. And whenever there is a compression of the brain parenchyma or soft brain tissue, the functions of the brain to that particular part becomes deteriorated or less, and that's the reason there is a brain dysfunction. So this is the problem, and all the signs and the symptoms which come up because of these tumors are pertaining to those pressure symptoms. I will tell you in brief about the signs and the symptoms which develops because of these particular brain tumors at a later stage. But now let me tell you what really brain tumor does to the brain structure. Actually, it invades the brain tissue. Secondly, it creates pressure, and that's why brain, a soft, normal brain structure or tissue gets pressurized, compressed. Thirdly, because it's a closed cavity, skull being a closed cavity, it increases the intracranial pressure. Fourthly, it blocks or obstructs the flow of the cerebrospinal fluid and cause accumulation of the fluid in and around the brain. And lastly, but it could be a catastrophe if some of these brain tumors cause sudden bleeding into the tumor, which can go into the brain and cause problems. Now, it is to be understood that apart from all these acute or the problems which occur in the brain because of the tumors, there is also one entity where some of the tumors grow very, very slowly over a period of long time. And because of its slow growth, brain adapts to that particular raising pressure. And if these tumors grow to a larger size, they do not cause any symptoms. So we have many times some brain tumors which have grown to a larger size but being very silent.